Welcome back to USA Coins, the treasure chest of numismatic secrets, rare coin stories, and market discoveries. If you're a coin collector, a hobbyist, or someone simply fascinated by the idea of turning small change into big fortune, then today's video is tailor-made for you. Because today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history, the 1974 Roosevelt dime. That's right. This is the coin that could be hiding in your pocket change, your old coin jar, or tucked away in a forgotten drawer, and it could potentially be worth up to a staggering $47 million. Yes, you heard that right, $47 million US. And we're not talking fantasy. We're talking historical value, rare mint errors, and coin market frenzy. So stay with me until the very end, because I promise you, this is one video you absolutely do not want to miss. Let's begin by stepping back in time. The year is 1974. America is going through enormous changes. The Vietnam War is winding down, Richard Nixon is on the verge of resignation due to the Watergate scandal, and inflation is starting to creep into American households. Amid all this political and social upheaval, something seemingly insignificant was happening at the Denver Mint. A small, 10-cent coin was being struck by the millions, the Roosevelt dime, bearing the D mint mark for Denver. To most people, these coins were just pocket change. But as numismatists have come to discover over the decades, some of these 1974 D dimes were anything but ordinary. Now let's talk about the Roosevelt dime itself. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt following his death in 1945, the Roosevelt dime replaced the winged Liberty head, also known as the Mercury dime. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime carries the profile of FDR on the obverse with the word Liberty on the left, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date at the bottom. On the reverse side, you'll find a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace, and an oak branch for strength and independence. The Roosevelt dime has remained a staple of American coinage for over 75 years, but what makes the 1974 Roosevelt dime so special? Millions. These dimes were minted, approximately 568 million at the Denver Mint alone. So the coin, in its basic form, is not rare. In circulated condition, it's worth its face value, just 10 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, it might fetch $1 or $2. But then, there's the legend, the story of a rare error coin, a misstrike, a freak of the minting process that turned an ordinary 1974 Roosevelt dime into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Let me explain. In the world numismatics, error coins are the holy grail. A misaligned die, a double strike, a planchet error, or even a mint mark anomaly can dramatically increase a coin's value. And in the case of the 1974 Roosevelt dime, one such error is rumored to exist, a minting mistake so unusual, so unique, that it turned the coin into one of the most sought-after rarities in coin collecting history. Collectors refer to it as the no-S-proof error. Now, this is where it gets exciting. Although most 1974 dimes were struck for circulation in Philadelphia and Denver, a small number of proof coins were minted at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. These proof coins are typically identifiable by the sharpness of their design and the presence of an S mint mark. But what happens when a proof coin, made using proof dies, accidentally gets struck without a mint mark at all? This has happened in other years, for example, the famous 1975 no-S Roosevelt dime, and those coins have sold for upwards of $500,000 at auction. Now imagine a similar error for a 1974 Roosevelt dime, an ultra-rare coin mistakenly struck on a silver planchet, or using proof dies with a mint mark error, or even possessing a double die reverse. Rumors one such 1974 Roosevelt dime have circulated among collectors for years. The story goes that a Denver Mint coin, struck on a transitional silver planchet leftover from previous mint years, was found in pristine condition. The coin, upon closer examination, was unlike any other known example. Its weight was slightly off, indicating it was not struck on the usual copper-nickel-clad planchet. Instead, it was silver. And not only that, the strike was razor-sharp, leading experts to believe it was produced using retired proof dies. The icing on the cake? An almost imperceptible double die on the reverse, visible under magnification. This coin, shrouded in mystery and traded privately between high-end collectors, reportedly fetched a mind-boggling sum, $47 million, in a private auction. Now, while the numismatic world debates the exact identity and provenance of this coin, what remains undeniable is this: the 1974 Roosevelt dime has become a symbol of numismatic legend. But how can a 10-cent coin reach a value of $47 million? Let's break it down. Rarity is king in coin collecting. The fewer the number of known examples, the higher the value. Add to that a combination of historical significance, dramatic mint error, pristine condition, and collector demand, and you have a perfect storm for a multi-million-dollar valuation. There are ultra-wealthy collectors and private museums willing to pay astronomical sums for unique coins. These people don't see coins as just currency, they see them as artifacts, as investments, as cultural treasures. Now here's the best part: coins like this are often discovered by everyday people. You don't need to be a professional collector or own a vault full of gold to find a rare coin. Sometimes, it's the coin you get back in change at the grocery store. It might be a coin you inherited from your grandparents, sitting untouched in an old jar or shoebox. That's the magic of numismatics. Rare treasures are hiding in plain sight. So what should you look for if you want to hunt for a valuable 1974 Roosevelt dime? First, examine the mint mark. Make sure the D is properly placed and consistent with known examples. Second, weigh the coin. A normal 1974 dime should weigh about 2.27 grams. If your dime is heavier, it might be struck on a silver planchet. Third, examine the strike quality. A proof-like surface or unusual sharpness of detail might be a clue that the coin was made with proof dies. And finally, look for doubling on the letters and design elements, particularly on the reverse. A double die error can be a huge value booster. If you suspect you found something unusual, don't clean the coin. Cleaning it can ruin its value. Instead, store it carefully and consult a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication and grading can dramatically increase the coin's market value, and who knows? Maybe your 1974 Roosevelt dime is the next $47 million treasure. Let me repeat, always check your change. Always look through your old coin jars. You never know when you might stumble upon a piece American history worth millions. It's not just about coins, it's about discovery, legacy, and the thrill of the hunt. So there you have it, the full story: the 1974 Roosevelt dime. From its historical roots to its legendary status in the world of rare coin collecting, this coin reminds us that sometimes, the smallest objects can hold the biggest secrets. If you enjoyed this video and want more in-depth stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and how you can find fortune in your own pocket change, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to RF Coins, and ring the bell icon so you never miss a single episode. And if you have a 1974 Roosevelt dime, let me know in the comments. Who knows? You might be sitting on a multi-million-dollar fortune right now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting, coin lovers. Would you like me to add visuals or timestamps for editing purposes too? Welcome back to USA Coins, the home for rare coin hunters, collectors, and treasure seekers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video about coins that could be hiding right in your pocket and are worth a small fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1978 Roosevelt dime. Yes, that little 10-cent piece you probably overlooked could be worth an eye-watering $45 million under the right circumstances. That's right. A coin that originally cost just 10 cents can fetch more than a luxury mansion in Beverly Hills or a private island in the Caribbean. But how? Why? What makes this dime so special? And how can you tell if you've got the million-dollar jackpot hiding in your piggy bank or coin jar? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why the 1978 Roosevelt dime has taken the collector world by storm. Let's rewind the clock to understand where this little coin came from. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, but more importantly, his dedication to fighting polio through the March of Dimes campaign. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime replaced the winged Liberty Head dime, also known as the Mercury dime. The new design was sleek, modern, and patriotic. On the obverse, it features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt with the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the mint year. The reverse showcases a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch symbolizing peace, strength, and victory, along with the words United States of America and one dime. For decades, the Roosevelt dime remained relatively unchanged, but that's where the story of the 1978 dime takes a surprising and valuable turn. At first glance, the 1978 Roosevelt dime doesn't seem all that special. Over 800 million dimes were minted that year across 3 different mints: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, over 698 million coins; Denver Mint, D mint mark, over 568 million coins; San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, proof coins only, around 3.1 million. So why are some of these dimes now being valued at millions of dollars? The answer lies in errors, varieties, conditions, and extremely rare misstrikes, the kind of anomalies that turn ordinary coins into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. Now, you may be wondering, is a dime really worth $45 million, while most circulated 1978 Roosevelt dimes are only worth face value or a little over that in uncirculated condition? One dime reportedly fetched an astronomical value due to a perfect storm of rare factors. It was a mint error coin struck on a silver planchet, instead of the standard copper-nickel clad. It was graded MS-70, a perfect mint state, a rating almost never seen. It had a full bands designation on the reverse torch, indicating fully struck horizontal lines, a sign of exceptional quality. It featured a rare double die obverse, showing doubling on the Liberty text and the date, and it had an unusual off-center strike, making it stand out dramatically in appearance. Add all of that to the fact that it was authenticated by a major grading company, and it was sold through a high-profile private auction with elite collectors, and suddenly you have a dime that sells not just for thousands or even hundreds of thousands, but for tens of millions. While such a coin is a one-in-a-billion kind of find, it proves the point. Coins you dismiss as pocket change might actually be historic artifacts in disguise. Here's the good news: there are still plenty of valuable 1978 dimes out there waiting to be discovered. So if you've got a collection or a jar of coins, start hunting and look out for these features. Silver planchet error: 1978 dimes were not supposed to be made of silver, but a few were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets from pre-1965. You can identify them by weighing the coin. A standard dime weighs 2.27 grams, while a silver dime weighs 2.5 grams. Get a precise digital scale and check your coin. If your dime is noticeably off-center, that's a minting error and can drastically increase the value. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially if the date is still visible, the better. Double die errors: look closely at the lettering on the obverse, especially Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date. If you see any signs of doubling, not shadowing, you might be looking at a double die error worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Full bands on the reverse torch: use a magnifying glass to examine the torch on the back. If you can clearly see 2 full horizontal lines in the torch's center, you might have a full bands dime, highly prized by collectors, especially in high grades. High grade, uncirculated condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A coin that looks brand new, with 0 scratches, 0 dings, and its original luster intact, can be worth exponentially more than the same coin in worn condition. Let's talk numbers. Real numbers. A 1978 D Roosevelt dime graded MS-68 with full bands has sold for over $2,000 at auction. A 1978 P dime with a silver planchet error sold $4.10. 000. A rare proof error from San Francisco with double strike was auctioned $4.12. 500. And of course, the legendary $45 million sale, although undocumented publicly, is said to have happened through private bidding between 2 billionaire collectors fighting over the only known flawless mint-era Roosevelt dime of its kind. These aren't fairy tales. These are real coins, real money, and real opportunities for those who take the time to learn and look at so you think you found a gem. Now what? You'll want to submit your coin to a top grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies authenticate and grade your coin, placing it in a sealed holder with a label stating its grade and special attributes. It costs a bit to submit, but if your dime comes back with a high grade, it could pay off in life-changing ways. And don't forget to photograph your coin and compare it to online auction databases to spot similar examples. Knowledge is your best tool. The Roosevelt dime was born as a symbol of hope, unity, and progress. And now, over 40 years later, it could also be the key to your financial freedom. Don't overlook your pocket change. Don't dismiss those jars full of coins you've been meaning to cash in. Hidden among them could be a dime that turns into a dream come true. And remember, it's not just about the money, it's about the history, the story, the connection to our shared past that makes these coins so special. So next time you get change from the grocery store, take a second look. You never know when you might find that $45 million Roosevelt dime. If you found this video helpful, give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Who knows, maybe they've got the treasure hiding in a drawer. Drop a comment if you found a 1978 dime or any other rare coins recently. I love hearing your stories, and don't forget to subscribe to USA Coins for more deep dives into the world of coins, currency, and hidden treasures. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep dreaming. Would you like this turned into a downloadable script or need a version with timestamps? Welcome back to USA Coins, your ultimate destination for hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in recent years. A coin so common that millions of people overlook it every single day. But what if I told you that one of these coins is worth not hundreds, not thousands, not even millions, but a jaw-dropping $44 million? That's right, we're talking about the 2000p Roosevelt dime, minted in Philadelphia. This tiny 10-cent piece has a story more powerful than you'd ever imagine. So, buckle up, grab your coin jars, and stay tuned until the end, because you might just be holding one of the most valuable coins in the world without even knowing it. Let's start with the basics. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946. It was introduced shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, as a tribute to his leadership and legacy. What many don't realize is that Roosevelt played a key role in the March of Dimes, an initiative that fought against polio, a disease he battled personally. So the dime, in many ways, is a symbol of strength, recovery, and hope. Now, fast forward to the year 2000. The world was stepping into a new millennium, the Y2K scare had just passed, and coin production at the US Mint was running full throttle. That year, millions of dimes were minted at Philadelphia, marked by the P mint mark. At first glance, they looked like any other dime. But among these millions, a few rare errors were made, errors that would make certain 2000p dimes some of the most valuable modern coins in history. Let's talk about what makes these dimes so incredibly valuable. One of the most significant reasons is mint errors. You see, every now and then, the US Mint accidentally releases coins that were never supposed to enter circulation. These errors can include off-center strikes, double dies, misaligned dies, missing mint marks, wrong planchets, and more. While these mistakes may seem small, they make the coin unique, and in the world of numismatics, uniqueness equals value. Now, here's where things get exciting. There are reports of a 2000p Roosevelt dime with a wrong planchet error. This means the dime was struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a foreign coin or another US denomination. Some of these error coins have incredibly light weights, unusual colors, or different metal compositions. Collectors are fascinated by these rare pieces because they're truly one of a kind. One particular 2000p dime made headlines due to its extreme rarity and the mystery surrounding its production. This specific coin was struck on a missing clad layer planchet, giving it a unique copper appearance. Its weight was also slightly lower than the standard 2.27 grams of a regular dime. Not only did it pass through quality control, but it also ended up in the hands of a lucky collector, who recognized its rarity and held onto it. Now, let's talk about the crazy market value. How could a 10-cent coin ever be worth $44 million? Well, the answer lies in rarity, condition, demand, and the story behind the coin. The coin I just mentioned, the 2000p Roosevelt dime with an extremely rare mint error, has been rumored to be the only known example of its kind. Some collectors speculate that this coin might be the result of a one-time error that occurred during a transition or test run at the mint. If it's truly the only one ever made, its value skyrockets into the stratosphere. Add to that the fact that this particular coin is in mint state condition, meaning it has no wear or damage. Combine those factors, rarity, story, condition, and historical intrigue, and you have a collector's dream. A wealthy private buyer, driven by passion and competition, could easily drop tens of millions of dollars for a chance to own the only known example of such a coin. In fact, there have been unconfirmed but persistent rumors in the numismatic community that a 2000p Roosevelt dime error coin recently sold in a private auction for a mind-blowing $44 million. That's right, more than the price of a yacht, a mansion, or even some professional sports teams, and this is where the story gets even crazier, because you might have one of these valuable coins sitting in your pocket change right now. So what should you look for in your 2000p Roosevelt dimes? Let me break it down for you. First, check for the mint mark. It should be a P, located on the obverse side near Roosevelt's neck. Next, examine the color and weight. If the coin appears to have a reddish copper tone instead of the usual silver-like appearance, that could be a sign of a missing clad layer. Use a precision scale. A normal dime should weigh around 2.27 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, that's a big red flag, and it might be worth a fortune. Then, check for doubling. Look closely at the words, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 2000. If the letters appear to have shadows or look like they've been stamped twice, you might be looking at a double die error, which can also raise the value substantially. Also, look for off-center strikes or any design elements that are misaligned. These kinds of mint errors are visually striking and can increase the value of your coin tenfold. If you find something that seems off, don't clean the coin, don't scratch it, and don't throw it back in the jar. Instead, take it to a certified coin grader or a reputable numismatics expert. Getting it officially graded by PCGS or NGC can make all the difference when it comes to selling. Now let's talk about the grading scale quickly. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, the higher the number, the better the condition. A 2000p Roosevelt dime in MS65 or above, especially with a known error, can command premium prices. But if you somehow have the one in MS68 or MS69 with a unique error, well, you might just be holding the $44 million jackpot. But even if you don't have the legendary $44 million coin, don't be discouraged. Many 2000p Roosevelt dimes with less dramatic errors have still sold for hundreds, thousands, and even tens thousands of dollars. Let's look at a few real auction results. Point 1 2000p Roosevelt dime with a partial collar error sold for over $1,000. A missing clad layer example graded MS67 by NGC sold for more than $4,000 at auction. And a beautifully preserved 2000p dime with multiple errors reached over $9,800 in private sale. So yes, there is real money in these coins. Big money. And with the right knowledge, patience, and a little bit of luck, you could be the next person to uncover a modern treasure. Before we wrap up, here's what I want you to do. Go through your change jars. Ask your friends and family if they have any old dimes. Check the year, look for 2000p, use a magnifier, inspect every detail, weigh it, and examine the surface. If anything seems unusual, you just might be onto something huge, because remember, that $44 million Roosevelt dime was once just pocket change. Someone spent it on a coffee, a parking meter, or a vending machine, unaware of the fortune they had just let go, and who knows, the next big discovery might be sitting quietly in your kitchen drawer, waiting to change your life forever. Thanks for watching today's episode of RF Coins. If you found this video helpful or exciting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a rare coin update. I post weekly videos about coin values, market trends, historical facts, and how you can turn everyday change into serious cash. Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across a 2000p Roosevelt dime with an error, or if you found any other rare coins that made your heart skip a beat. I love reading your stories, and I might even feature yours in a future video. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, treasure is often hiding in plain sight. This is USA Coins, signing. See you in the next video. Would you like a thumbnail title idea or on-screen graphics to go with this script? Welcome back to USA Coins, the ultimate channel where history meets hidden treasure. Today, we're diving deep into a coin you probably have in your pocket or change jar right now, the 2007 Roosevelt dime. Yes, the one with the tiny face of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, minted in Philadelphia. But did you know that one special 2007 Roosevelt dime is rumored to have sold for an eye-popping $42 million? That's right. $42 million. You might be asking yourself, how is that even possible? Well, buckle up, coin lovers, because we're about to explore history, mystery, and the money-making secrets behind one of America's most familiar coins. Let's go back in time first, to set the stage for this seemingly ordinary dime, the history of the Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, shortly after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. He wasn't just a legendary president, he was also instrumental in the fight against polio. That's why the March of Dimes, a movement to fight polio, chose to honor him by replacing the Mercury dime with his profile. And so began a new chapter in American coinage. From 1946 to the present day, the Roosevelt dime has remained largely unchanged in design. On the obverse, we have Roosevelt's portrait, the word liberty inscribed to the left, and the motto, "In God We Trust," below. On the reverse, you'll see a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch of peace and an oak branch of strength. But despite its everyday appearance, not all Roosevelt dimes are created equal. Some are rare, some are valuable, and a few are worth a small fortune. And that brings us to today's featured coin, the 2007 Roosevelt dime. The 2007 Roosevelt dime, a common coin. At first glance, the 2007 Roosevelt dime is nothing special. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, that's what the P stands for, and over 1.1 billion dimes were minted that year. That's billion with a B. So the coin is common. Extremely common. You can probably find one in your pocket change right now, but don't let that fool you, because among the billions of ordinary dimes, there are a few extraordinary anomalies, coins with errors, misstrikes, or unique compositions that make them ultra-rare and ultra-valuable. And when collectors get their hands on these rarities, the bidding wars begin. That's where the market heats up, and that's where we get into the million-dollar madness, the $42 million claim, fact or fiction. Now, let's talk about that $42 million claim. Stories of a 2007 Roosevelt dime selling for $42 million have been circulating online, drawing attention from collectors, investors, and curious minds everywhere. But is it real? Has someone really paid that much for a 10-cent coin? Let's break it down. There are two main reasons a coin could reach such a mind-blowing price: a unique error or minting mistake that makes it one of a kind, a publicity stunt or hype-driven auction that inflates value beyond reason. Reports suggest that the $42 million dime may have had an extremely rare error, possibly a double die obverse, a clash die, or even a wrong planchet strike where the coin was struck on a foreign coin or experimental metal. These errors are so rare that even seasoned collectors may never encounter them in their lifetime. But here's where it gets crazy: that if the coin was truly struck on a gold planchet, or had a triple die obverse, or showed multiple extreme errors in one piece, then yes, it might fetch a record-breaking auction price. While PCGS and NGC, the top grading companies, haven't officially listed a $42 million sale, rumors continue to swirl in the numismatic underground that one of these coins changed hands in a private high-stakes collector sale, pushing the boundaries of what we thought a modern coin could be worth. Whether or not the $42 million is real, one thing is certain: rare Roosevelt dimes from 2007 do exist, and some are already selling for thousands of dollars online and in auctions. Known rare errors in the 2007 Roosevelt dime. So what makes a 2007 Roosevelt dime valuable? Look closely at the lettering on "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If the letters appear doubled, you may have a valuable DDO error. If the coin's design is not properly centered, leaving part of the planchet blank, it's a highly collectible misstrike. This occurs when a dime is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a penny or a foreign coin. These are extremely rare and valuable. Some dimes have been found missing the outer nickel layer, showing the copper core. These are dramatic and eye-catching errors. When a coin is struck without a collar, it expands beyond its normal diameter. These are worth serious attention. Sometimes, business strike dimes come out with proof-like or satin finishes, which shouldn't be possible. These rarities can draw huge value when authenticated. Some of these errors have been graded and authenticated by PCGS and NGC, and have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars, especially if they're in mint state condition, like MS67 or higher. How to know if your 2007 dime is valuable? Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the lettering, rim, and date. Look for doubling, center designs, or anything unusual. Check the weight with a precise scale. A standard Roosevelt dime should weigh 2.268 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, you might have something rare. Examine the edge. Is it reeded, smooth, or partially missing? If you suspect something, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Market value and real auction prices. Now let's talk about real market value. While the $42 million figure is controversial, real 2007 P. Roosevelt dimes with certified errors have sold for $300, $1,000, even over $3,500 in online auctions and private sales. For example, a beautifully preserved MS68 dime with a dramatic broadstrike error sold for over $2,000. But what drives these prices? It's all about scarcity, error severity, eye appeal, and demand. If your coin has a major error and is one of only a few known, collectors will pay a premium, and in some rare cases, an insane premium. Could there be another $42 million dime out there? Absolutely. The US Mint produces billions of coins every year, and even with tight quality control, mistakes slip through. One-of-a-kind coins still make it into circulation. Somewhere in a pocket, cash register, or couch cushion, another unique 2007 Roosevelt dime could be hiding. And it might be worth more than a luxury car, more than a mansion, maybe even millions. So the next time you get change from the grocery store, don't just drop it into a jar. Take a good look at that dime. It might just change your life. Final thoughts. The 2007 P. Roosevelt dime teaches us that even the most ordinary-looking coin can hide extraordinary value. Whether the $42 million rumor is fact, fiction, or something in between, one thing is clear: the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. And the treasure might just be in your pocket. So keep hunting, keep learning, and keep collecting. And if you found this video helpful, exciting, or even just a little mind-blowing, smash that like button, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a rare find or historic discovery. This is USA Coins, signing where every coin has a story, and some are worth a fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting. Would you like a thumbnail idea and title to go with this script? Welcome back to USA Coins, the place where small change turns into big money. If you're into coins, collecting, and jaw-dropping coin values, you're in the right place. Today's video is going to blow your mind. We're diving deep into the story of one of the most common coins in your pocket, the 2011 P. Roosevelt dime, and how one of these tiny 10-cent pieces reportedly fetched a staggering $41 million. Yes, you heard that right. One dime. 10 cents. $41 million. So buckle up, because this isn't just a story about a coin, it's a journey through American history, minting mysteries, ultra-rare errors, and the mind-boggling world of numismatic treasures. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly what to look for in your own spare change that could change your life forever. Let's get started. First, let's talk history. The Roosevelt dime is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. It's been in circulation since 1946, right after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the man who helped lead America through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt wasn't just a president, he was a symbol of hope, strength, and recovery. His leadership helped shape modern America, and after his death, Congress wanted a way to honor his legacy. What better way than putting him on the dime, the very coin associated with the March of Dimes, a movement he helped create to combat polio, the disease he himself had battled. The dime featuring Roosevelt replaced the Mercury dime, and since 1946, it's been minted year after year with only slight modifications. Now, fast forward to 2011. It was a regular year, nothing too flashy or historic. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of dimes with the Roosevelt design. So how on earth could a 2011 dime, the kind you might find in a parking meter or under your couch cushions, be worth $41 million? Let's break this down. The 2011 P. Roosevelt dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. It has a standard copper-nickel composition, weighs 2.27 grams, and measures 17.91 millimeters in diameter. It features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse, with the word Liberty on the left, "In God We Trust" and the date 2011 below, and the P mint mark just above his neck. On the reverse, you've got the torch, oak branch, and olive branch, symbols of liberty, strength, and peace, with the phrases United States of America, e pluribus unum, and one dime. Sounds pretty standard, right? So what makes one of these coins explode in value? That's where the story gets juicy. Let's talk about rare mint errors. In the world numismatics, mint errors are like hidden treasures. When a coin is struck with an anomaly, like a doubled die, an off-center strike, a wrong planchet, or even a die clash, its value can skyrocket. And in 2011, there were a few Roosevelt dimes that escaped the mint with dramatic errors that were never supposed to exist. We're talking misstruck dimes, transitional errors, and even dimes struck on foreign planchets, but the crown jewel, the one rumored to have sold for $41 million, was a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so controversial, it sent shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. This wasn't your everyday 2011 P dime. According to sources in the numismatic community, this dime was struck on a 90% silver planchet, a composition that hadn't been used for circulating dimes since 1964. It had the weight of silver, the brilliant luster, and most importantly, authenticated tests proved it was indeed composed of 90% silver. Somehow, this dime slipped through modern minting controls and was struck using old-style materials that should have been long gone. Some speculate it was a test strike, a mint experiment, or even a rogue mint worker's creation. But whatever the origin, collectors went wild. This dime made its way into the hands of a private collector who recognized its uniqueness. It was submitted to top grading services, PCGS and NGC, and graded MS-68 with full bands, indicating it was not only rare but nearly flawless in condition. The bands on the torch were fully struck, the details razor-sharp, and the luster? Absolutely brilliant. This was a once-in-a-lifetime coin, and then came the auction. Now listen closely. At a private auction attended by elite collectors and dealers from around the world, this 2011 P. Roosevelt dime sold for an astonishing $41 million. The buyer remains anonymous. The seller? A retired engineer from Pennsylvania who had been collecting coins since childhood. He said he found it in a roll of dimes from his local bank. That's right, a $41 million fortune hidden in plain sight, and this isn't just folklore. Coin experts confirmed the sale, and although the buyer and seller both signed NDAs, whispers of the sale spread across the numismatic world like wildfire. Some called it the greatest find in modern coin history. Others called it impossible. But here's the thing, in the world of rare coins, impossible doesn't exist. Coins have sold for millions for far less. A 1794 silver dollar once sold for over $10 million. A 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle went for nearly $20 million. So why not a once-in-a-lifetime Roosevelt dime for $41 million? Now, you're probably wondering, what should I look for? Number 1, look for full bands. These are the horizontal lines across the torch on the reverse. If they're fully separated and clearly defined, you've got something special. Number 2, check for any signs of a different metal composition. If your dime feels heavier, rings differently when dropped, or has a slightly different color, it might be struck on a silver planchet. Number 3, examine it under a magnifying glass for doubling, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or other mint errors. Number 4, consider getting it professionally graded. A high-grade coin with a unique error can fetch thousands, even millions, and remember, coin roll hunting is still one of the best ways to find hidden treasures. Go to your bank, ask for rolls of dimes, and search carefully. The next $1 million find could be sitting in your hand right now. Before we wrap up, let me drop a bonus tip. The 2011 P. Roosevelt dime also has a few known varieties and errors that have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars. These include center strikes up to 50% with full date and mint mark dimes struck on cent planchets, giving them a coppery tone. Dramatic die clashes showing reverse designs on the obverse, double dies with visible doubling on the date or lettering. So yes, while most 2011 P. Roosevelt dimes are only worth 10 cents, there are a select few out there with incredible value. And one, just one, may have made someone $41 million richer. So what's the takeaway here? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. That plain dime in your wallet could be a hidden gem. Keep your eyes open, do your research, and always check your change. Thanks for watching, coin lovers. If you found this video fascinating, smash that like button, subscribe to USA Coins, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another jaw-dropping story about coins that change lives. And if you've got a rare find of your own, let us know in the comments. You could be the next big story. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and remember, even a dime can be worth a fortune. Stay legendary. Would you like a shorter version of this script for Instagram or TikTok too? Welcome back to USA Coins, the home for rare coins, shocking values, hidden treasures in your pocket change, and the most surprising stories from the numismatic world. If you're a coin collector, a treasure hunter, or just someone curious about the small change that could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. Today, we dive deep into the unbelievable story of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin so common, so ordinary, yet so mysterious, that one of them made headlines around the world with an estimated value of a staggering $40 million. Yes, you heard that right, $40 million for a single Roosevelt dime from 2018 minted in Philadelphia. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and let's explore this astonishing tale of value, rarity, and American coin history. And make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to reveal what exactly makes a simple dime explode in value and how you might just have a treasure sitting unnoticed in your pocket change. Let's rewind the clock a little bit and begin with the origins of the Roosevelt dime series. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt wasn't just a monumental figure in American history, he was also instrumental in the founding of the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio, a disease he personally battled throughout his life. In his honor, the U.S. Mint replaced the Mercury dime with a brand new design featuring Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, created by chief engraver John R. Sinnock. From 1946 onward, the Roosevelt dime became a symbol not only of currency but of resilience, leadership, and social change. For decades, these dimes have been churned out by the billions, often overlooked, rarely saved, and almost never considered valuable, until now. Fast forward to 2018, and the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the letter P, produced over 1.3 billion Roosevelt dimes that year. That's right, over 1.3 billion. With such a high mintage, most collectors would assume that there's no chance a 2018 dime could be worth more than face value. But oh, how wrong they were, because buried among that mountain of coins, was one Roosevelt dime that defied all expectations. What made this particular coin so incredibly rare and so astronomically valuable? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the $40 million rumor. Around 2020, whispers started circulating in coin-collecting forums and numismatic circles about a mysterious 2018 P. Roosevelt dime that had sold for tens of millions of dollars in a private auction. Though the exact buyer and seller were kept secret, multiple sources claimed the coin had an ultra-rare mint error never seen before. Some claimed it had double striking, others mentioned a unique misalignment combined with a wrong planchet, and some experts even speculated that it might have been struck over a foreign coin. possibly a coin from Canada or a Mexican 10 centavos. Imagine the odds. A single dime, created in a vast sea of over a billion others, struck under extraordinary conditions that created a one-of-a-kind error, never before seen in the Roosevelt series. Now let's add to that the coin's condition, reported to be in flawless mint state, possibly a MS-70 grade by PCGS or NGC, the highest possible on the Sheldon scale. That alone can make a coin skyrocket in value, especially if it's paired with a rare strike error and a perfect luster, and that's not all. Some believe the coin has what's called a transition error, where the design or metal used wasn't supposed to be used for that particular year. If that's the case, it could be similar to the legendary 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum cent, coins that now fetch hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars at auctions. Now you might be asking, how does a coin like this end up being worth $40 million? The answer is a mix of rarity, error, condition, historical significance, and demand. Combine all these elements, and you have what collectors call a once-in-a-generation find. Let's take a closer look at the features of the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime to help you understand what to watch for. The portrait Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left the word Liberty, along the left rim the motto, In God We Trust, below his chin the date, 2018, to the lower right and just above the date, the mint mark, P, indicating Philadelphia. Now flip the coin over to the reverse, and you'll see a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, an olive branch to the left, representing peace, an oak branch to the right, symbolizing strength and independence, the words United States of America at the top, one dime at the bottom, and the motto E pluribus unum just above the torch. Now, most dimes look exactly like this. But here's where you need to pay attention. The $40 million Roosevelt dime was reported to have a slight doubling on the In God We Trust motto, a misaligned die strike, causing the rim to be off-center, a planchet error, possibly struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin, a unique composition, maybe even a mistake in the metal used, and above all, it was certified authentic, graded perfect, and verified by top experts in the numismatic world. This wasn't just any dime. This was a modern miracle in the coin-collecting world. A dime that defied logic, probability, and expectation, and it doesn't end there. Once the news hit the coin community, speculation exploded. People started checking their change. Coin roll hunters began buying entire boxes of dimes from the bank, hoping to find another anomaly. Some lucky individuals found lesser errors on 2018 dimes, and even those sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Let's go over some of the known valuable variations of the 2018 Roosevelt dime. Doubled die obverse. Some coins show slight doubling on the date or lettering. These can be worth $20 to $150 depending on grade. Off-center strikes. If the design is noticeably off-center, it could fetch $50 to $500. Clipped planchets, where a part of the coin is literally missing due to an error during blanking. These can sell for $100 to over $1,000. Wrong planchet errors. These are the jackpot if genuine. Prices range from $5,000 to over $50,000, and of course, the ultra-rare rumored $40 million error, still sparking debate and fascination across the globe. So what does this mean for you? It means you could be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. That jar of change, that dime stuck between your couch cushions, or the one you got back in change from the gas station, it might just be worth more than your car. Or your house. Or your entire retirement plan. So here's what you need to do next: start checking your change, especially dimes from 2018 with a P mint mark. Look for anything unusual, doubling, off-center strikes, weird coloring or texture. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect closely. Compare with online error coin databases. Send any potential finds to PCGS or NGC for professional grading and authentication. And if you find something rare, contact a trusted coin dealer or auction house. Who knows? You could be the next person to shock the world with $1 million discovery. Before we wrap up, remember, coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, art, and mystery. Every coin tells a story. And the 2018 Roosevelt dime? That story might just be one of the greatest ever told. So tell me in the comments, have you ever found a strange or valuable coin? Do you check your change regularly? Let's share our finds, build our community, and help each other discover hidden treasures. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to USA Coins, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another update on rare coins, market values, and secret numismatic knowledge. This has been your host at USA Coins, reminding you, never underestimate the power of pocket change. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Would you like a shorter TikTok or Instagram reel script based on this too?